5th edition of the Best Chef Awards. Hashtag join us, hashtag get the spark. And I'm sure we will have the spark right away because we already had a lot of tips and tricks, but also I've been mentioning some dark and bright sides like work balance, like how to treat the team, like the fact that working more with locals. A lot of things changed the past year, but luckily for us, we are having some chefs to share their experience. Michael van der Kroft van Tres, he has been a professional BMX rider, I have been told, but he started combining sport activities with work in the kitchen, and then that really triggered his passion for food and cooking. So welcome. Also welcome Syrco Bakker from Pure Sea, head chef of the 2 Michelin-starred Pure Sea in the Netherlands. He's a very adventurous and dedicated chef, a talented culinary artist, we could say. Welcome Jermain de Rozario from Rozario. Grew up in a large family with 5 brothers and sisters. Yes. He started working in the hospitality industry and a first-year student at Restaurant Parlement in Helmond. And then in 2016, Jermain opened the doors of his very own restaurant, the Rozario in Helmond. Also amongst us today is Tim Goldsteijn from Bougainville. He worked at the international renowned restaurants in Amsterdam, like Amstel Hotel and Parker's Restaurant. And Goldsteijn is really the modern gastronomic conscience behind the restaurant Bougainville. So welcome, gentlemen. We already discussed about the dark and bright sides because they are in every panel discussion. I think even yesterday during the Food Meets Science, mental health, for example, has been mentioning a lot of times, and it's also a real hot topic the last year. So you are not escaping reality as such when we talk about fine dining and mental health, of course. And I see that also Rodolfo is ready, Rodolfo Guzman from the Borago, after taking part in the teams of many important restaurants in Chile and Europe. Well, he built at the end of 2006, Borago, his very own restaurant based in the Chilean territory and the sea life. So welcome, Rodolfo.
Hey, thank you guys. Thank you. Thanks for the invitation. So excited.
Yes, we are also very excited to have you here online, that you took the time and effort to be here. Gentlemen, I must say this time, so guests go to a restaurant to have an experience, an amazing time. But let's be honest, behind the scenes, a lot of things are happening, especially for chefs. You're working with teams in high risk, stress, long hours. How do you see that? Oh, you can take the mic. No, normally.
Just
yes.
this?
Yes.
I don't know, it's a passion. So you go to your high and low. And like during COVID, you see everything changed. Like with a lot of people in the kitchen, because we only have, I don't know, I didn't have any hobbies after I stopped BMXing and just went only cooking. And I see with the guys in the kitchen, the only passion they have is cooking. And at a certain time, we work 17, 18 hours. And after that, we work like 6 to 8 hours. There was way too much free time for everybody. And you can see they go into a low thing because they don't know what to do. And I had the same. I was like, okay, what do I have to do with my life? There's nothing. The only thing I did was standing in that basement and we went for it. I think that's the difficult side. You have to deal with yourself because you're only dealing with your food, with the passion, give a great experience, and then some is gone. It's like, all right, this is it. What now?
So, but do you mean that at the beginning you are not aware of the dark side? You go for your passion for cooking, like you mentioned, you work in a basement, in a dark room?
Yeah, we all just go for it, and you don't look at the dark side. You don't feel you work so many hours or something. It comes from the heart. I think you just go and...
Syrco, is that also something you experience that way? Because like we said, addiction, sexism, strong, long working hours, the list goes on and on. So according to you, what is the most dark side that we should pay immediate attention to? Maybe not only for you, but for your team as a whole?
Well, I think the environment changed a lot, and also the mentality of people who are working in hospitality. It's a big change. Before, there was a lot of competition, so that's why you also took the extra step, and you just accepted to do the things that you had to do. But now it's all different, and there are other priorities by the young people, and I think this is good, but we have to try to work around it, and see it as a challenge and also like a sustainable challenge to keep hospitality and restaurant business going in a healthy way the next 10, 20 years. And if we approach it from that side, then we also make other decisions and make sure that it will be more human and respectful.
Mm-hmm. So when you started, what was the thing you noticed and that you said, that I want to change for my team? Do you have an example?
Well, when I started, it was investment, the hours, the hard work, and at the end you will get paid back. Well, sometimes I was like doubting, like it takes a long time, and when do you have this payback time? Then when I became a head chef myself, I was really like thinking, okay, if you are working in hospitality, then you won't be a millionaire. You do it because you follow your dream, you follow your passion, and what value can we create? And that's just to share as much as possible knowledge and experience with my team. And back in the days, it was really like a recipe, or you just started sharing if somebody survived the first 2 months, and we will remember the name after a month, because then he approved to be part of the team. But now I'm really like, and already for a few years, that I just try to create value for people who work with me. Study days, visit suppliers, doing new dish creation sessions together. More like a team effort that we do, and also share as much as possible. Mm-hmm. Because what I said, you won't get really rich, but the value that we can create is to make sure people who work with us can fill up their backpack as full as possible, so they are ready for the future.
Rich in experiences, you are focusing really on the team. Jermain, is that also something you notice, that according to you, the dark side is really how the team is working? And what is for you the most darkest side? Let's begin this panel with the negative.
I'm not going to tell my darkest side. Nice that everybody is here. Now I see it. There are no dark sides, but we all make our own dark sides. And my profoundings, especially the last year, 2 years, for me personally, I only can talk about personal experience. And the nice thing of our chefs is we all have our own opinion and we're all stubborn. But I think the world is changing. You see it in every business. And now it's time for our business also to change. And the long hours and the long days, and I think we need to think different. And I started to close 1 more day, so we are 4 days open now, talk more to my staff, but also to inspire them. But to inspire them, I first had to change myself. So I let go the dark side and just think only positive. Mm-hmm. And don't think too difficult, and let go of my ego. What's more important, to have a nice restaurant with a lot of people and also your community. Don't think always too big. Start thinking small, and then you get bigger. That's my opinion.
And when you say we closed more days, that's something that Manu, even from Brazil, also mentioned. When was it triggered and why? Have you changed the opening hours?
No, I want that my staff is working longer at my restaurant, and not every year that they go, and like Syrco said, that some people come and after 2 months they leave, and I want to give them a place that they will doubt. Why should I go? This is a nice place. They talk to me, they give me attention, I have the freedom to evolve, and listen more to each other. Not only the chef, you do it as a collective. It's like a football team. If you have only people at front, you can't win. You have to do it as a collective. So I think the chef also can learn from the students who come in the restaurant.
Mm-hmm. That's a nice topic. I'll come back to you within a couple of moments. Of course, Tim and Rodolfo, talking about students. Here we go. What do you think? Should they be really working 10 till 14 hours without getting paid just to learn? I know this is a question we see or we hear in many debates, but what do you think?
Well, first of all, we have to work hard and practice a lot to become where we are now. So, and that doesn't change. You can't be a chef in 1 year. So it takes a lot of practice, a lot of time to learn techniques, to build up your flavor, and I think it's really important that you have to work a lot. To invest in yourself, as Syrco said, that doesn't change. But I'm also aware that the times are changing, and the mentality of today is becoming different.
What changes do you see, for example?
Well, as you said, young students, they don't want to work anymore for 12, 13 hours. They're not used to. They see in other businesses that that is normal to get paid every hour, and I think it's also that a lot of young people are attracted to the show elements they see, like Instagram, social media, only the bright sides, but they don't see the hard work that's behind and all the years that we invested in that. But it's not only shit, as you say. But there are still a lot of good students. But yeah, the times are changing, and as also Jermain said, I think it's time for us to also find a way to make our business more attractive, our work, and invest in the people and also in the students.
So Rodolfo, I hear you a lot of things, make it more attractive, invest in people and students, team building. How would you, first of all, experience the dark side of gastronomy? What is, according to you, the thing you struggle with at work?
I don't think there is such a dark side. I wouldn't call it that way, to be honest. We love so much this cooking, But there is this greatest guitarist called Tom Morello, one of the greatest alive. He says that it is not a criticism at all. It's just I'm just gonna point it. There is an issue. Is a yes and no. Is everything in life? He says that there are not going to be more greatest guitarists because young people doesn't want to spend 16 hours playing, or as he used to, or no more than 8 hours. So this is an issue, why. As Tim just said. In cooking, you need to practice. There's no other way. We're not engineers. We're artisans. This is the real thing. When you cut a fish, you need to cut it like 1,000 times with a great master, and there is no doubt about it. You have to. You really have to practice. So, for sure, every cook has had a great experience at the beginning of their careers. I remember, it was tough at the beginning, but I love it so much. So I suddenly fell in love with this great way of spending hours and hours of just to think about it, and I keep thinking, the world for sure has changed. Many people are looking for some other interest, especially especially the brighter, the brighter sides, such as Instagram, as someone said. But the real thing is there's nothing in life happen in real quick and one day to the next. You really have to work your ass off, as we say. You really have to do it. And I keep saying, to every young chef that goes to Borago and away, and you really have to think about it, because this is the hard work. It's not for everyone, unfortunately. And yeah, I think if you want to succeed, if you want to learn more than someone else, then you have to spend some time to learn it. There's not an injection. It's not going to be a vaccine. Okay, I got the knowledge. You have to practice. You have to study. You have to learn. You have to understand. How we learn, to share. We share with. The more we share with more people, the more we learn. That's what I think. I don't know. That's what I feel about this. About cooking in general. About the ingredients. We have these. When we started this journey at Borago almost 15 years ago, we knew nothing, really nothing about the Chilean country, and we discovered so many things because we spent 10 years on a learning process, and that's how you learn. There's no other way. You have to, I don't know, find yourself into submerge and spending hours. I think it's the biggest contradiction ever. We're going to have to deal with in the next few years for sure. But this is the contradiction. This is the challenge, I would say.
Okay, gentlemen, so it's clear that you all do it with passion, that you don't even think about the dark sides, but let's be honest, there are some. Is it something you think, for example, at school they could prepare more students sharing the dark sides, really make them aware of what real life as a chef can be, will be? Do you think that education can play an important role?
Oh, but it also depends. Because I think we get different students. You got different levels of school here in the Netherlands. So I think we get the higher level students in, and they know what they're going for. It's their passion. So they go in with the same vision. They don't mind. I can only speak as well for myself what kind of students I get, but that's how it goes. They come and they know it's going to take a while. I'm going to put in the hours. But also from everybody you can learn. I think that's one thing. You have to keep an open mind, because maybe they pick something up and you're like, wow, that's amazing. And if the student feels appreciated,
yeah,
it'll go all world open. But school, I don't know. The kitchen evolves so fast. I don't know if a school can keep up with new techniques or new things. Maybe teachers has to go in the kitchen sometimes. I think that's a better thing to do for them, just to see how it's evolving, also changing, because most teachers come from way back, and they just went. I don't know how you really explain it, but they don't teach the techniques that we do now. When I was at school, it was old school, okay, this, and then you went to the kitchen, oh, nobody does this anymore, and you're I don't know, the students just work and they have the same passion. I think that's the thing for me.
Jermain, I see that you want to react or not about the...
Well, it's a good question, but it's also, as Michael said, you can also be a chef and work 8 hours a day, and you go in a normal restaurant or a brasserie, or but it's the same with sports. It's the same, I think, with other jobs. It's not only as a chef, but if you want to become the best, if you want to work on a high level, if you want to be really good in what you're doing, and if you love your job, it doesn't matter if you work 14, 15, 16 hours a day. Mm-hmm. So I think you don't have to prepare someone. If somebody wants it, he knows it. If you want to become a real good football player, you have to play soccer every day and practice, practice, practice. But you love it because it's not anymore a job. It's only your hobby, your passion.
Your passion, yes.
That is true. That is true. But we can't ask €100 for a steak in a restaurant. So, and that is the biggest issue. Like, okay, how can we make sure that the hours are getting a little bit more normal and paid, but still work on the highest level? And I think that is something that school can't change or prepare students for. I mean, it is something that a student has to do itself. If you want to... No.
Jermain?
I'll keep talking.
That's good. Let the debate go. It's really interesting to hear a different point of view.
But that's true. But still, I think that these kind of conversations, but the difficult conversations, are very important to still have also with school. Because we have to talk more, like in life. If we talk more, then we know what the problem is. There is a problem. We can say, yeah, if you want to be the best, do you want to be the best? Is that the goal? Is the goal being the best? My goal is not being the best. It's just let's see who you are. Yeah, for yourself, you have to let the chef decides the pressure in the kitchen, and that's a fact.
Not really.
Because talking about pressure, you all made a comparison with sports. But let's be honest, during the last Olympic Games, we saw a lot of youngsters really going under pressure, not supporting the pressure anymore. How do you keep balance? We see, especially if we look at the world suicides index also. What is your point of view? You are put under pressure every day. You cannot sit back and relax, not even for 1 minute during work. So how do you cope with that pressure? And what message would you give to young chefs who are watching?
Yeah.
Well, I think that you always must have the conversation with your team and with your students, and just speak about what do you want to achieve. We're gonna support you the fullest, but we also expect something back. That means that you also make an investment, and also make a lot of the comparing. Yeah, like Usain Bolt doesn't lie on the beach for a year and then run a world record. He's also training and working for it, and you can't expect. And this is what sometimes happens, that team members expect that they go home, sleep, and then they come back, and then they know an a la carte dish, for example. No, you have to train for it. I also had to do it. I had to write it down. I had to read it before I sleep. When I wake up, I read it again, like on school. You know, and sometimes you have to remind people about that, and then I think it's good also to have the conversation. What do you want to achieve? Do you want to be the best? Do you want to learn about fish this year? Then we make sure you learn everything about fish. Just decide personal goals, and then it's a cooperation, and you have to invest from both sides in that.
Do you guys think that the COVID, the pandemic, changed a lot of things in that way, that you were able to think more about the work-life balance, and what exactly concretely have you changed?
Well, I think it's, well, for us in POC, there are two things changed. One is that we do less guests, so we work with a smaller team, more on quality and on service. And this is feeling good, because there's not too many issues going on. And with big teams, you always have a lot of stuff going on. There's always something. And when we work with a smaller team, like-minded people, it's the mood is better. And then like most of the. Because of the pandemic, we did 10 services this summer, but now we finally go to 8 services. It was already a long plan to go to that. But then you have business-wise an issue, and that's normally people work 10 services with the revenue. Now you go to 8 services, same cost, less revenue. How are you going to manage to organize this and to fix this? And these are things where we have to think about and speak about. And what I believe is that not next year, but in 2-3 years, that the guests really will pay for experienced and professional stuff. So if you want to go to a restaurant where they can't give you an advice about wine, or if you have an allergy and they can't do it because they are not trained for that, that's okay. Then you can choose for this restaurant, but you know that the team won't be that professional. And in restaurants where we work, I think that the team members will be also rewarded on salary by the guests. But this has to change slowly on. We can't say in one day, okay, the menu will be 50 euros more because we want to give more salary to our staff. I think this has to go step by step. But I think it will move to this direction.
Jermain, is it also something you see that due to the pandemic, or thanks to the pandemic, the working hours are changing, that guests are giving more appreciation, and that, yes, maybe that will help you?
Yeah, actually we do less guests. First we did 50, now we do 30. So we go for more rest. Actually, I saw myself, so I was a bully in the kitchen, so that's less, talk more, and more appreciation for life. And I think that the difficulty now is in less hours, give the same intention. So we have to think differently and cook differently. So I'm taking the hard way, and I like it.
I see a big smile on your face.
Well, for me it was also that I started questioning why I do this. I do this to serve a better dish. I do this for the guest experience, or I do it for my own ego. And if you really brutal, honest look to that, you do a shitload for your ego to show. Oh, then we do 5 pounds of filet. Look at this. But why? It doesn't make sense a lot of times. And if you can go, that's what we did last year, really go into a dish and really make it simple, and then it will be also better workable for the team.
So Rodolfo, we are not forgetting you. We hear a lot of things, a lot of changes since the health crisis. What was, according to you, what have you changed lately in your fine dining restaurant?
Been already almost 2 years. We've been with the restaurant slate for a year and a half, if I'm not wrong yet, and we just opened it about a month ago. So we used to do two services daily. Now we do only one, and 6 days a week, by the way. Now it's a bit different. We do 5 services. We're a big team again. But in a way, we learned to work with less people, of course. So we're trying to be much more efficient in many processes, and to be very detailist on a teamwork, and much more organized, of course. And I think people in general, the guests, will in the next future will understand these efforts compared to much, I don't know, probably with more and more super casual restaurant. I'm not saying less good, but probably within the next future, people will understand the differences between a restaurant that requires more effort to make it happen, because of the service in general. So I would say that in our case, we're trying to put a lot of effort, as we always been, with the entire team, We trying to understanding that yes, we're going to be a big team. We have no choice. And this is the big responsibility at the same time, you know, to try to understand what kind of restaurant you are, to be in very and to understand what is your responsibility with the environment, with the community. You know, in our case, we still have a lot of stagiaires coming in. You know, our borders are closed still in Chile, but we still have a lot of requests from people from all over the country. They wanted to come to experience and to learn from what we do. And this is a big responsibility, and try to teach them the best ways possible, and also to understand what is good for the team, you know. Mm-hmm. So I think it's about a balance. Yeah. So I would say we have to be very focused with the business, with the responsibilities, and with the guest. It's like, for me, that would be the equation. And I think we're finding a great balance to spend less hours at the restaurant and being more organized. I'm pretty sure within the next, couple of years with technology, we might find even more possibilities to be even more organized. So we will spend the right hours or more efficient hours at the restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm really impressed by the fact that all chefs we had from Africa, we had from Brazil, a lot from the Netherlands and Chile, that you are all undergoing at the same time, the same changes about working hours, about team efforts, lack of employees, maybe not in fine dining. How is that? Due to COVID, I hear that for a lot of restaurants, finding the right employees is getting more and more difficult. A lot of food not available due to closed borders. You are all undergoing the same changes?
I have to say we're very lucky, but we're also a really small restaurant with only 12 seats. So staff for us wasn't the issue. Mm-hmm. And also with borders closed, we only work with Dutch ingredients, so for us, nothing changed. But we laid the ball back to the team, like how far you want to push it.
Yes.
Instead of, and also they all want to work all the hours. Sometimes they say, like, should I bring my sleeping bag? And dude, you have to go home. Yeah. At a certain point, I just send them out. Just go home, and I finish it myself. You know.
Okay.
There's a line, but they don't see the line at all. Mm-hmm. They just like, oh, let's push it, let's push it, and then you see them going down after a while, and like, then it's time. Now we reach the limit.
So, Michael, let's talk. I think that Rodolfo mentioned it, the environment. Let's talk about sustainability. We will discuss this topic this afternoon. How do you care about sustainability? Because somehow we forgot it. It was a real hot issue in 2018, 2019. Then the health crisis came. And then how did you manage to maintain that sustainability issue
It was pretty hard during COVID because you look for everything. Like, sustainability, it's a nice way, but everybody says it's a politic thing more. Mm-hmm. Do you really do it or not? You know, in the end, you never know. Everybody says it works more greener, like more closely to around and look for it, but is it real?
Yeah.
Or is it just a talk around it? And during COVID, you saw plastic was normal again. Like, everything had to go in boxes. But also, as a business, you have to survive, so you do what you have to do. Mm-hmm. But I think it's a kind of weird that during the pandemic, plastic was normal. It became like there was nothing happened with plastic anymore. If you look at the sea, it's not good what we do with it.
So, gentlemen, do you agree what he says? That suddenly, like during the takeaways, people, okay, it's okay with plastic, and then now when we are hopefully at the end of the pandemic, do you think that will change again?
Well, I think we as chefs have the privilege to show people and make people aware of decisions that you can make And we need to take this platform. I think you need to take it every day, and not to. People who come to the restaurant, they want to have a nice evening or nice lunch or dinner and enjoy it. This is the main thing. But and they're not sitting in the classroom, but I think you can still show them, okay, this fish is also swimming in the North Sea and it's really tasteful. Maybe try to eat this fish one time and not only something from another continent. So I think it's really important that you take this this privilege to still show people what kind of decisions you make and make people aware of that.
Awareness of guests also, of course.
And then everybody has to define what's important for you and what you want to showcase. For me, it's always like 3 pillars where I always make decisions on, or really like hold on. Is that it's traceable, transparent, and natural. So I know. Organic, or there's a lot of labels, all okay, but I just want to know where a product is coming from. I can look the producer or the farmer or the fisherman in the eye. I know what they stand for and how they treat their products. This is for me very important.
So, gentlemen, we've been talking about the team, about sustainability, but Tim and Jermain, some moments ago, you mentioned the money. So how to do good business with fine dining? Because I think, Jermain, it was you who mentioned, yeah, students only see the biggest and the glamorous things on social media, but is that it? No, I assume. That's what we mentioned with the dark side, like in every passion, every profession, people only see the best of the best, those who are really doing a good job, but there are a lot of more difficult situations.
Yeah, if you talk about the money, for example, that we closed one more day and give them more rest and less hours, then they have a better salary. And it's difficult. You only see the beautiful things, and it's hard work, but yeah, we do our best.
What do you do? What do you think, Tim? Can you make a good life with fine dining, or is it only for the happy few?
Well, what I wanted to say also before, and there's a funny thing, if you look at shops, if you look at the clubs, bars, they all have a closing time. But our restaurant doesn't have a closing time. And I had a conversation with my team like a week ago, and we were talking about, and we were just throwing some ideas at the table, like how can we change a bit that we are going to work less hours. And somebody said, like, why don't we have a closing time? So like, sometimes we're still making desserts at 1 o'clock in the night because people, they just come late and they're really, they're enjoying, of course, but it's, so somebody said, why can't we close the kitchen just like 11 or 11:30? But then again, we are the hospitality in us, and so it's really difficult. Then somebody else says, hey, why don't we start later? So open the restaurant 1 hour later. But then it only changes the time you start. So we are really busy thinking about ideas and how we can change the pressure, but as also Jermain said, and I think we all know, we need the hours to prepare something, or we need to change the way we're cooking. And sometimes we are already thinking about that, like less structures, less things on a plate, but then again, everybody has his own cooking style. Everybody, and you always want. For me, I always want to, I never think about how many work is in a dish. I'm creating a dish for the flavor and the taste. So in the beginning, it looked like I was like, if you want to be the best, you have to work all these hours. I am not like that. I'm thinking about it, but it's really difficult. And for me, I don't know where the solution is. So I hope we come up with something good.
But what I can say is now we have 30 guests. People pay more money because we have more attention for the guests. It's very weird because in the old restaurant we moved to a new place. We have 84 guests. And now we earn more money with 30 guests because you talk more. You talk more to the guests. You
give them more attention.
Give them more attention, talk more. And I actually also want to work 15, 16 hours a day because it's not work. I love it. And I especially love the old way. I really love it. But we have to change. That's the thing. I also don't know all the solutions. But that's so difficult because we have a fucking good job. It's nice. But yeah.
No, but I think that's one of the bright sides of the pandemic. Here in the Netherlands, we have to close at 12. Before, like what Tim said, you were doing service sometimes till 2:30. Like, okay, guys, let's try to push them out, you know?
So it's according to you, that's better?
Yeah, it's better. We do less hours during the night, so it's better. Everybody has a little bit less hours, but before that, there was no end time.
So closing hours is one of the
Well, small things can change a lot. So, and it's just an idea, but it's crazy, right? Everything has a closing time except us. That was just like,
it's a good way, right? The 12 o'clock is finished now.
Yeah.
Rodolfo is still listening very carefully. I wanted to ask you if you could pick one thing, just one thing to change immediately, what would it be? Would it be the closing hours?
I don't know about that one, you know.
It's a difficult question. Let me think about it.
Okay, let's start on with Rodolfo. Give you some time to think about it. Rodolfo, what if you could dream it right away, what would it be for you?
That's a tough one. Yeah, probably would be that one. You know. We've been after the pandemic. It's just a phenomenon for me. I would say we just been closing the restaurant around 10. Can you believe that? Like never happened that before. So we're super excited. Like I don't know, people, the guests in Chile are super. It changed. Something happened. So I guess it's good. So the rest has been. And I feel that that our team. It's very happy now. I will keep that mood going. You know, it's a great thing for diners are coming early. So I guess it's good. I like it.
So you're giving bright, good ideas today, gentlemen. Is there something else you would like to see changed?
Well, from what I think of the. What will be kind of the plan? I don't know if it will work out, but I think that with our restaurant we have to go to less guests. What we do already, create a kind of awareness because we have less seats and normally it's the same request, and then you also can create your own rules or decisions. It's still a business, so it goes hand in hand. And if you now say, okay, I don't serve meat anymore, or I have